welcome to the Happy Hour with Jamie Ivey podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, and I'm here every week, and I'm so glad that you're here today. Every week I invite a girlfriend to join me on the show, and we chat about the big things in life, the little things in life, and everything in between. Before we get to our guest today, I want to thank our sponsor, which is Hooray Mail. Hooray Mail is a subscription snail mail delivered twice per month for kids ages 2 to 6. In each brightly colored envelope, they're going to find a personalized card and a fun activity. The activities are super simple and can be done in 5 minutes using supplies you already have around your home, like crayons or scissors. Kids grow like weeds before your eyes, and they get plenty of daily screen time. So let's slow down and start a snail mail revolution. Because really, what kid, or adult for me as well, doesn't love mail? Whenever my kids get mail, they love it. And it's not very often. And so we've done this, and Story was so happy when she got this in the mail. So guys, go to hooraymail.com. If you can't remember the link, it'll be on my webpage. Go to hooraymail.com. Use the coupon code HAPPYHOUR to get 50% off your first month. Guys, today my guest is Alaina Mays. And Alaina and I have a great conversation about just God showing up in the valleys of life and what does balance really look like. Alaina is a teacher and a mama to 2 adorable twin girls. And she's also been on my texting radar for help with Story's hair. So that's who she is, because I love her hair. And so she is such a sweet, sweet girl, and you're going to love this conversation. Guys, before we get to the show, I'd love it if I could just ask you for a favor. I'm wondering if you could go to iTunes and rate or review the show. I know it's like, Jamie, I just want to listen. I don't want to go do this. But it really does help out the show, and it helps when people find the show. It's easy. Go to jamieivey.com/iTunes, and I'll take all the 5 stars that you want to hand out. Okay, guys, here is my chat with Alaina. Hey, Alaina, welcome to the Happy Hour.
Hey, thank you.
I am so happy that we finally got this. I was just telling you, we have rescheduled this about 8,000 times because we're both working women and mamas and insanely busy. But I think it worked out better.
It did. And it's so funny because this is exactly what I feel like the Lord has been teaching me over the past. I feel like he's been trying to bang this into my brain, just flexibility and just trusting his timing and literally all things working out for your good and perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think over the past couple of years, I've been letting it sink in. I've been getting it. So
it's like, yes, it keeps showing it to you.
I know. And I'm like, yeah, God, this is good. This does work out. Your timing is absolutely perfect.
Are you a control person? Like, you like to be in control of everything?
I don't want to say yes, but yeah.
But it's true.
I know. I was like, that's such a horrible characteristic to have. But I am. And I think it's more out of fear than actually wanting to control a situation or someone else. It's fear.
Like fear of what might happen if you're out of control?
Yeah, like fear of, for example, we want our kids to behave well, right? And if we're out in public and, a blowout happens or, they tantrum, you fear, what are people going to think of me? Do I have enough clothes? Do I have enough diapers? It's some sort of fear that's driving us to. I'm also a perfectionist, which is also something I do not want to admit to. But it's just fear, and just letting the Lord just laying it all at his feet and letting the Lord have that has been a huge weight off of my shoulders. It's been glorious to just let the Lord have all the fear. This is what I'm afraid of. This is what's freaking me out. This is what I'm worried about, and letting him deal.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's so easy too, on the flip side, when you've actually done that in the moment, to say, oh yeah, that is better. And then sure enough, another time happens and you have to learn the same dang lesson again.
Yeah. Because I totally agree. I absolutely agree. And I'm learning that just like there are a million different sides of the Lord, there are a million different things that we're afraid of.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we cannot just accept I'm afraid of this, because
Mm-hmm.
in this one thing we're afraid of, there are a million different reasons we're afraid of it.
Yeah.
So the more we are in scary situations and the more the Lord has to teach us his faithfulness and his goodness, the more we're able to recognize all the many different things we're afraid of and give it to him.
That's so good. And you've personally walked through some things recently
Oh,
about
girl.
fear and trust and control. And
Yes.
I don't remember
Yes.
when I started following you on Instagram, but
Okay.
I love your Instagram because you
Thank
just have
you.
beautiful girls, and I love following your story. But I didn't know at first that you were a single mom.
Yeah.
I've been accused of not having enough pictures on my husband on Instagram, so I thought maybe you just didn't want to put yours up either.
Maybe she's just obsessed with her kids.
There you
You know,
go.
it's so funny because
But this is
how do
new.
you
This is new to you, right?
it's new. It is really, really fairly new. Um Things I don't it's so new I don't even know how to talk about it. You know, like I don't even know the right vocabulary and the right words to say. But I guess at the end of the day, I split from my husband in I think like October of last year,
Mm-hmm.
and our divorce was finalized in May. So it is really, really new.
Mm.
And a lot are still like, but you're married, right? And I'm like, no. And I'm still referred to as my ex-husband's wife, and I'm not like, oh no, I am not his wife anymore. I'm not like that at all. I'm
Yeah.
just like, sometimes I just roll with it. It's
Yeah.
not, a big enough deal for me to correct, because thankfully I'm again, just the sweetness of the Lord. I'm so thankful that we don't hate each other. I almost want to say past cordial, like it's almost like a friendly
Mm-hmm.
situation, but there's still things that we obviously have to work through, but it's good. It's so good. And um it's good, girl. I don't
Well, I mean, I know this is so new for you, and
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to talk about your divorce at all because it's none of my business or anybody's listening business, first of all. But it's a reality that you're single
It
parenting as
is.
well.
It
I
is.
mean, and I guess
Yeah.
co-parenting with your ex-husband as well.
Mhm.
How does that, I mean, you have to think, nobody goes into life
At
thinking,
all.
right, that I'm going to, and I know you struggled through infertility as well. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
no one gets married and thinks, oh, I'm going to struggle with infertility. And then no one thinks, oh, I think I'm going to have babies and then I'm going to end up getting a divorce. Like, no one thinks that. How
Right.
has that looked for you? And how have you seen God, like, really, really get you through these times that nobody ever thinks are going to happen to them?
All I can say is it was God. Like I literally do not know. I have no idea. Um and so many people are like, you have gone through this so gracefully. You are so strong. I mean, just literally just speaking so much encouragement and compliments and just words over me that I would never ever describe it. Like I don't I have no idea. Like I literally have no
Mm-hmm.
idea. Because all I ever wanted to be was a wife and a mom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, a wife and a mom. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to do. And got married, and like I think the next year we were like, okay, babies, like let's build this family and whatever. And infertility, okay, cool. That was horrible. And
Mm-hmm.
it was hard. And that's when I actually started blogging through that. And I have no idea why I did that. And again, that was like a God thing. Even the name of my blog, Unashamed Growth, and my blog has seen so much growth, of personal growth, really, especially over the past few years, that it was God. Like I literally have no idea. Just
Yeah.
going through the infertility, and then we tried adoption. That didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Those attempts failed, and just it's been a lot. It's been a lot in a very short amount of time. And I'm just so thankful to the Lord that even though I think privately it was devastating and so hard, and lots of tears, lots of prayer, lots of I feel like rebuilding that the Lord has done, and shaping, and breaking down and putting back together, that I have to say I have gone through it well.
And what
So
and what do you think is attributed to that?
part of my desire to do things well, that perfectionist in me that wants to do things well, but also just the heart for God that He's given me. He has drawn me closer to Him in ways that I just wasn't ever expecting. And He's matured me in Him, and it's been good. Like that's all I can say. Like, all of these valley experiences have grown me so much closer to Him. Like, the only words I can literally think of are maturation, growth, love for the Lord, abiding in Him, and just, it's been good.
And I think I've seen this in my life, and although my struggles are different than yours, I've never walked through a divorce and never walked through infertility. I still have had so many struggles in my life, and it seems as though God is always faithful because it's His character. That's what He does.
Right.
And it seems as though in those valleys, like you just mentioned, that it's almost like you can feel Him even more than when you're not in the valley. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
It's like you have this deep, deep need for Him, and I think it's in those moments when God is like, I'm going to mold you and shape you and build your character so much in these moments. And so you hear people talk all the time and say, like, I'm thankful for that season of suffering. And that sounds ludicrous to the world, but the reason that they're thankful for it is because the growth that God did in them was it was immeasurable to any other time in their life. And that's what I feel like you're saying.
Absolutely. And in those valley moments, it's so easy to cry out to the Lord and be like, why are you doing this to me? Like, why am I going through these struggles? Why am I having such a hard time? It's easy to look at other people and say, but they have it so good, and they have it so easy, and all of these things just seem to fall into place for them. But I would not trade this valley for the world, and I guess being the perfectionist and desiring the Lord and wanting good, I've learned to just know and trust and believe that God is good to me. He is so good to me, even though life has been hard for me.
Right. Right.
So,
and so this new life that you're learning to live right now as a single mom. Well, you are a single mom to toddler twin girls.
Yes, girls. The drama is insane. It is. Toddler twin girls. Yeah, and thankfully they are so good though. Like, they are good babies. They don't. These are my first kids, first of all.
Right.
Like, they're my only kids, and I don't know what toddlers are supposed to be like.
Okay.
I have nieces, and I spent a lot of time with them in their life, but I don't really remember their toddler years.
Yeah.
I didn't go into my baby's life thinking, okay, well, babies do this, they do that, they do this, expect this and expect that. So I feel like they are like throwing me into the deep end. But again, just another reason the Lord is good to me. They are good babies.
Oh.
They were preemies, so they spent a couple of weeks in the NICU.
How early were they born?
They were born at 34 weeks.
Okay.
So they spent a couple of weeks in the NICU. Scary moments there, just as a new mom.
For sure.
But they don't really cry very much. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what
they're great. How old are they right now?
They just turned 18 months.
Okay. They just turned 18 months. You have 2 children, 18 months old. which is just, I see people that have twins and I'm just like, first of all, I'm like, amazing because, let's do it. But then other times I'm like, this is great. You're getting like, you're already doing it once. Just do it twice. And then you
Yeah.
got these two kids.
It's great because when we were going through our infertility, I would go to our endocrinologist and I would literally say, give me all the drugs. Like the highest level of hormone that you can give me, like shoot it up,
I want it.
because I wanted multiples. I've always wanted multiples, first of all. Like my mom was like, you're insane. You have no idea what you're asking for. I was like, no, Lord, I want like quints. Like give me
All of them.
all the kids, because I wasn't sure if I could get pregnant again. And I wanted more than one child. And I have three other siblings. I love it. Like it's great. And I didn't want an only child. So again, the Lord blessed me with these babies spontaneously. Like when I got pregnant with them, I was like, I'm done. Okay, Lord, like it's only gonna be me and my husband. That's cool. I'm fine with that. And I found out randomly that I was pregnant.
Was
And
that
then
your
with
first
twins,
pregnancy?
yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And then with twins, absolute blessing. Like the Lord gave me everything I asked for. Um, so I have these two babies and they love each other and it's fun and they are generally great sleepers, even though they have, when they're teething and all of that, their sleep habits are interrupted. But I mean, it's been good. The
That's awesome.
Lord,
That's so
yeah,
good. That's so good.
yeah,
So now single parenting, what would you say is the hardest issue that you're having to deal with as
a
doing this
single
gig
parent.
alone? Yeah.
Um, I would say doing it all by yourself. Like literally everything is on you in the day to day. Like obviously my family's great and I have great friends and a great support system. But when we get home, it's not like I can say, "Hey, you bathe them while I
Right.
fix dinner," or
Uh-huh.
like literally the day to day. And then I guess being everything, like that's the scariest thing. Again, perfectionist kicks in. Like, okay, if you end up crazy, it's all eyes are on me.
Right.
Like when you're tantruming, am I responding to you in the right way?
Mm-hmm.
Am I being patient enough with you? Am I spending enough time with you? And I'm working and parenting and trying to still have time for myself and time for the Lord, and like, am I balancing all of that well
Yeah.
enough?
Yeah.
So that's scary.
So
Just
how is it finding balance? I think balance is a really weird and hard word that kind of
it
gets
is
overused and weird?
exactly. It's like one of those hashtags, like
Right.
hashtag balance. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? Like, that does not exist.
And I think that balance for me looks different than you. And so when we start
Yeah,
saying this is what
absolutely.
balance looks like, then we women start going, but I don't look like that, so I must be unbalanced. And
Right, right. It's this chase of
yeah.
this life that is so different for everybody. And then it's the comparison thing kicks in, and
Uh-huh. So
it's
how do you like what does balance mean to you?
balance for Alaina is sometimes not eating dinner. It's sometimes like literally putting the girls down. Their bedtime is 7:30, and thankfully I had a friend that was like, they need a bedtime,
Mhm.
because they didn't, like, at first, because I didn't know. I was like, I'm a teacher, first of
Uh-huh.
all. So the summer, but they were like 6 to 9 months in the summer, and I didn't really have to go anywhere the next day. So they didn't have a bedtime routine. Like, I had no idea that they needed a bedtime.
Right.
I was like, they
And your
go to
friend was
sleep and
like,
they go to
"Listen,
sleep.
I'm gonna make your life
Exactly.
easier. Put those kids to bed."
Exactly. They need a bedtime. And I was like, okay, well, they go to bed at 10. And she's like, no, they need to go to bed earlier so that you can have your own time. So thankfully, they go to bed at 7:30 consistently every single day. And in that time is when I kind of squeeze in whatever I need to do, because I have to go to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
or I'm the biggest crap.
Uh-huh.
So that 2 hour time frame looks different every single day. Some days I clean, some days I read, some days I sit on the couch and do nothing. Some
Right.
days, I read my devotionals and my books. So balance, I don't believe, is a set thing. And for me being structured, that was difficult to accept. Like every single day, you don't have the same exact routine.
Right.
It varies and it differs. And the Lord just showed me his grace in that too, because I was so hard on myself about what needed to be done, getting this whole checklist ticked off every single day. And it's like, that is not where you need to be right now. Like that, some things are going to be undone, and that's okay. Sometimes your laundry is going to sit in the dryer or sit on your couch for a couple of days, and that's all right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's almost kind of coaching yourself to be okay with the things that you think aren't supposed to be okay.
Right. And trusting the Lord in that. It's, Jamie, when I tell you the Lord has just been showing me how good he is and just how okay incomplete life is. Like incomplete tasks are okay. Undefined roles and undefined periods of life are okay. Just resting and abiding in him and realizing that your kids are going to be all right if they watch Disney for an hour. Like,
right.
It's okay.
Yeah. Have you experienced any kind of bitterness in the last couple of years towards God or towards your ex-husband?
Bitterness towards God. Anger for sure. And towards my husband, yes, but I'm so thankful that it didn't last long. I've been in counseling since 2014.
That's good. I'm a fan of counseling.
December of 2014, right before I went into I was on hospital bed rest for like 8 days before the girls came. And the week before that, I started counseling, and it's been so good. And the bitterness and the anger doesn't last long. And I think that it would be a lie and absolutely impossible to say, oh no, I'm not angry towards God and my husband. No, not angry towards him. Your life turned upside down, but again, thankfully the Lord is graceful and so kind and loving in those moments of anger and fear. Really, all of that is rooted in fear and sadness, that he loves you through it, and it's okay. It's literally okay to have havoc and chaos reign in your life, and for you to cry out and wonder why and be angry, because like we have agreed that that's not what you go into a marriage or faith in the Lord expecting.
Yeah, and the honest truth is that God can take it.
He can.
He can take it.
Isn't that wonderful? So I am, and I know we'll talk about this later, but reading this book and just knowing that is what commitment looks like. Commitment, the Lord's commitment to you. He can take those hard feelings. Like he can take the anger, he can take the fear, he can take all of that. So when you lay it out, I think when we get so caught up in who we think the Lord is and we box him in, like, I can't tell the Lord I'm angry with him.
Right.
I can't yell at him. I can't, he's God. Like I have to, only show happy feelings and thankfulness. And no, he is God. That's exactly right. So he can take, your feelings in the valley in these hard moments. And
thankfully we have that displayed in his word. I mean, we see that from his followers, especially a lot of the Psalms that David wrote. He's crying out and saying, God, where are you? Have you left me? And then we get to see the flip side also of him knowing that, God is his shelter and he is with him. And so that's just amazing. Hey guys, before we get back to the conversation with Alaina, I want to thank another sponsor for this week's happy hour, and that is Prep Dish. You hear me talk a lot about Prep Dish because they're just doing amazing things. It's a healthy subscription-based meal planning service. So a couple things that stand out there is healthy. That's good to know. And it's subscription-based, so you subscribe, and then it's a meal planning service. So after you sign up, you're going to get an email every week. And in that email is going to be a grocery list and also instructions on how to prep your meals. So you take your little list to the grocery store, you check everything off, and when you come home or whenever you want, you'll just spend a couple of hours prepping all of your meals, and then you have meals prepped for the rest of the week. Not only is this an amazing time saver, which all of us are looking for in our lives, but it's a great way to start eating healthy. And I know it's like back to school. We're trying to get our heads back on straight. And you might want to start off those family dinners with healthy meals. And this is a great way to do that. All of the meals are made with real food, nothing processed. And as a subscriber, you have the option of gluten-free, dairy-free, or paleo meal plans. So she's getting healthy meals in front of you. The chef Allison is offering listeners of the happy hour a special rate of $4 for the first month. So guys, it's a great time to try this out as you're getting back into the swing of school and stuff. Go to prepdish.com/happy hour, and that's going to get you a $4 trial. Okay, here's the rest of my conversation with Alaina. Okay, it's summertime.
Summer.
Which has to be your favorite time of the year.
It is.
Because you're a teacher. And I just have in my mind, well, I used to be a teacher too before we had kids, but I just have in my mind that teachers like they just cannot wait until May, and then they're just on auto drive, and then June gets here and they're like, this is the best time in the world, and they just like everything's out the window and schedules are gone and they just live it up. That's what I'm imagining a teacher life is like.
Yeah. There, some days are like that, but there's a lot of prep and there's a lot of training and a lot of just getting back into the swing of things that goes on. You like now it's July is literally days away, and it's like, okay, school, it's almost August.
It's almost here. What grade do you teach?
I taught second grade for, I started teaching when Thomas and I got married, so I guess 6 years. Mm-hmm. But now I'm moving to fourth and fifth grade. So I'm you're
kind of starting over.
Yeah, and I don't even know what to expect.
I think you're going to like it more.
I think so,
mm-hmm.
especially with having babies who they're starting pre-K in August. So having more mature children who are students, who are able to kind of do their own thing is going to be amazing, because I'm going to have to go home and
do everything.
Color. And then, it's a whole nother, like they're going to have homework. So learning that is going to be interesting too, because I thought that just going home, making dinner, giving baths, playing a little bit was hectic. It's going to be really hectic when we have projects and, actually getting them ready to go to school. It's going to be insane.
Yeah. Well, you can take my philosophy and you can.
What is it?
My philosophy is I hate homework. So, I can't really do that anymore with the middle schooler, but my elementary kids, I'm just so loose about it. I'm like,
are you really?
Yeah. I want you to read because obviously I think,
it's
reading
important.
Is important. And I think that you should read at home. I try to discipline myself to read at home every day as well. Sure. But the other stuff, literally, I'm like, you guys go get it done and then let's play, because I think the school district has had my children for 8 hours today.
Right.
And I only see them for 3 or 4. We're not going to sit down and do homework for an hour. So at my house, I am like, I could care less about homework. And I would tell a teacher that too.
I don't know what type of mom of school kids I'm going to be. I have no idea. And I'm a little terrified.
Well, when we have one of our kids that really struggles with school. And so at first I was really, really like a tyrant about his homework, because I felt as though we got to catch up. We got so much to learn. You got to go. Right. And then I realized, actually, this is really difficult for him. And he spent the entire day being really difficult.
Yeah.
We need to have a time at home when we're not having to. So I'm a lot looser about it.
Right.
And my 6th grader gets off the bus at 5 o'clock.
What?
Yeah. So he goes 9 to 4:15, but by the time the bus gets home, it's 5 o'clock.
It's 5. Oh, so my gosh, that's late.
Yeah. I mean, we're we only have a few hours left with him.
Oh my goodness. And it's, again, going to have to learn the Lord in a whole different way. when school begins, because I'm also a cheer coach, you know?
Oh, I could
So
see you doing that.
yeah, so having practices a couple of
Uh-huh.
times a week, having games, we're going to get home late too.
Yep.
Like seriously late, like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
And then it's time for bed.
Yeah, so it's like homework. Like, how are you going to get it all in? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so and like I said, I'm not sure, because I'm already like paranoid about what kind of students they're going to be. Because as a
Oh,
teacher, you don't want your kid to be that student
yeah.
who is like causing the teacher to pull out her hair, and you want them. And they started like a summer program at the school they're going to go to
Uh-huh.
a couple weeks ago. And again, super paranoid. So I'm asking the teacher, like, how are they doing? Are they okay? And she's like, yeah, they follow the rules. They do what they're supposed to do. They watch out for each other. They're always looking for each other. So I'm like, okay, praise the Lord. I'm so
Yeah.
thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, when this homework starts, like, in my mind, I imagine me being like, we got to get our homework done. Like, write
Okay,
your
but
letters,
here's my
erase it if
advice.
it's not super neat.
Here's my advice. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let it go.
But I'm such
Let
an
it
perfectionist. Like,
go.
that's gonna, how hard that's gonna be for me.
I know, but they have so much school left for the rest of their life. They're
They
so
do.
young.
I know. Like, why freak them out
Don't
at
freak them
2?
out, and don't freak yourself out. Let
Yeah.
it go.
Yeah.
You can
Find
just
balance. That word, right?
yes,
Balance.
yes, 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 yes. Find the balance. Okay, well, I have a teacher question for you.
Okay.
Um, for all of us that send our kids to school every day, what is the best thing that a parent can do for you throughout the year?
So the best thing a teacher can do a parent can do for their teacher is just know that the teacher loves your kid and she wants the best for them. And let's give each other grace. Like, let's just cover each other with grace
Yeah.
and work together.
Okay, tell me a crazy parent story.
My favorite parent stories are the ones where the teacher like hates you at first,
Uh-huh.
and because their kid is perfect, and I get it. My kids are perfect angels,
Uh-huh.
and they end up loving you in the end because they realize that you do like my kid.
Uh-huh.
It's all love, and you're a person too. And I think now, again, being a parent, the classroom and your teacher, I feel like they're preparing your kid for life. And when it's like a little community, like, we learn rules to function well in the community. And parents, we want to protect our kids. We want them to be happy. And you just learn that that's not what life is about. Like, in the classroom, your kids are not always going to be happy. And that's okay,
Mm.
because they learn to adapt. They learn to deal with change. They learn to still function well when, another student might not like them. That's okay, because
Yeah.
that's the world. Everyone isn't going to love your child. Everyone isn't going to think the best of them. And sometimes,
What? Everyone's not going to love
honestly,
my kid?
no. And honestly, sometimes your kid is going to give people reasons not to like them.
Okay, well, this brings me to a question, okay? In all
Yeah.
seriousness, one of my kids, and they shall remain
Nameless. Yeah, don't
nameless.
don't rat them out.
No, not at all. But this particular child gets in trouble more at school than any of my
Right.
others. And so this is a
Right.
new thing for me
Mhm.
because I'm used to my kids not getting in trouble, obeying the
Right.
rules. And,
Right.
I don't want to create robots by any means.
Mhm.
And so this child is particularly very strong willed and
Mhm.
just,
Is it the middle child?
I'm not going to rat him out.
Okay. Okay.
It's the youngest. There we go. I
Oh
said
gosh.
it. No, my daughter, she's just so like, she's going to be a leader someday. I really pray that for her.
Right.
But for now, she struggles sometimes. And I always feel as though, it's like a reflection on me. And the
Yeah.
truth is that
It's not.
it's not, and I
Right.
know that. And I struggle with approval, and I don't
Of
want to be
course.
so worried of what the teachers think of me that I don't parent well, because I want to parent
Right.
her the best way, even if she does get in trouble, like, okay, we're going to move on. But I always just feel as though the teachers are like,
Judging you.
yes, exactly.
No, I
And you know what?
think
Maybe they are.
And that's okay too.
But
You know,
that's not my issue, right?
it's not. And that's something I've had to learn too. That other people's choices aren't a reflection of you. You
Hmm.
know, they are their choices. They are doing the best that they can in that time frame, and they're doing what they think is right. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and we know the word says that, you know, we all do what's right in our own eyes, and thankful that the Lord gives us the word and godly counseling and wisdom to help us to to shape us towards his heart. But we all have, I think we can all look back and in some grade level or period of our schooling to say that was a hard year for me.
Yeah.
You know, my
Yeah.
fourth grade year was tough. I got in trouble all of the time, but that didn't mean my parents didn't love me.
Oh,
That
for
doesn't
sure.
mean that
Yeah.
my parents weren't disciplining me or teaching me in that moment. So that was just my growing period,
Yeah.
and that's okay. And I think it stresses kids out. I've seen it when parents try to make them be a certain way, or and I think also, you know, we do the best that we can. And, you know, sometimes we feel like that looks like creating a perfect little world and a perfect little bubble for our kids. And that doesn't always benefit them.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah, just letting them live life and experience consequences, natural consequences for their choices and their behavior. You know, it is what it is. Like they're not going to become criminals if they have to sit out at recess or do an hour of detention for not turning in their homework.
Right. You
You
sound like a
know,
great teacher. I bet that you love your kids to death, for sure.
I do, and I am a proponent for natural consequences.
Oh,
Like
I love it.
like parents are like, no, she let me want to send notes and apologies for homework. They didn't do their homework. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like
I love it
they're
too.
going to have to sit out and complete it, or they, you know, might not make the best grade on the assignment,
Yep.
but that's a learning lesson and they're okay. You know, I absolutely feel that we have to give kids responsibility, and taking that away from them, not making them do chores or not making them, you know, be responsible for something, hinders them more than covering for them does.
Right, for sure.
So,
What's the
yeah.
best thing that a parent can do to serve a teacher throughout the year?
Discipline their kid.
Okay.
I literally, that would be my answer, that to discipline your child and not cover for them all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that serves them and it helps us out too. I love it when a parent is like, I'll take care of it, you know, and you know, my kid had a bad day, I'll take care of it. And even if the kid comes back the next day and does the same thing, that doesn't mean you're not doing anything. It just means that, you know, it's a period of growth for the child, and as long as you're doing the absolute best you can to rear this baby and to I say baby because I had second graders, but I
Uh-huh. They're kind of like babies still in some ways.
kind of, but like, let's give them some responsibility. You know,
Yeah.
that's so huge for me. Like, just giving your kid responsibility. And I have 18-month-olds again, and I get how we just want to make it easy for them.
Right.
You
Yep.
know, like the fact
But
that
that's not training them for life.
it's not, it
Yeah.
is not like the fact that I can tell my baby to, hey, go give me your cup, and they can do it. That lets me know you are listening, you can understand me, and you can do things for yourself. Like, how much easier does that make it for me that you can do things for yourself?
I love it.
That's wonderful. So
Yep.
why would I do everything for you? Like,
Yep.
how much more confidence does that give you to know that you can do something like that? We love how proud are we when we can accomplish something, when
For
we put
sure.
something together, or we accomplish a goal. That makes us so proud of ourselves, and it gives us the the what would you say, the boldness to take on another challenge. So
Love it.
give
Love
it
it.
to them. Like, let them goal for something.
I love it so much. Okay, Alaina, I want to hear 3 things you're loving, and let's start there, and then we'll go on to what you're reading because you already talked about something you're reading, and I can't wait to hear now. So
I
start
did,
with
and
what
I
you're
didn't
loving.
give too many
I know
details.
you didn't, but
So,
it sparked my interest.
yeah. So 3 things I'm loving right now are the current season I'm in. I love the current season I'm in, even though it's hard. It's been so good to me. Um, just this newfound independence. Because let me tell you something I'm sure is I ought to be humiliated about. But this is the first time I'm living by myself. I've
Ever in your
never,
life.
ever. I have never lived by myself. This is my first apartment on my own.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that insane at 33?
It's not insane. I've never lived alone.
Really?
Yeah, never, because
I don't feel so
no,
like freak out.
no,
Like
no,
I don't
no.
feel like I should join a freak show.
Nope,
Okay.
went to college, lived in the dorm, and
Yeah.
then lived with roommates, and then moved home for a couple years, and then got
Yeah.
married.
And then got married.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that was my road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good and it's amazing. Like the personal growth and the maturation um has been great. And then going through, everything that I've gone through over the past couple of years with, the divorce and all of that, just learning a whole new level of self-worth and self-value and just
Yeah.
rebuilding all of that and rooting it in Christ and not accomplishments, not in being a wife, not being a mom, because I think as women, we kind of identify ourselves with,
Those type of things.
yeah, like
Yeah, for
being
sure.
and that puts pressure on us, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if my value and my worth is being a mom when my kid acts out, it's like, oh my gosh,
Now my
how
value has gone
weird.
down. Yeah.
Right. Or if they don't do so well on a test, or if we put so much pressure on them in sports and all of this. It's okay. Like let them
Mm-hmm.
be who they are. You aren't graded on your kids' accomplishments at all.
Right.
So it's great.
Right.
Um Also, I'm loving being a mom. It is so much fun. Like it's everything I thought it would be and then some things that I had no idea of.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Just the mirror they are. It's insane. Like this,
It's amazing and scary at the same time.
it is. Like the fact that I was moisturizing my face one time and my Logan, I saw her in the mirror like copying me.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Oh God." Like that
They're
is
watching
amazing, but
everything.
it's so scary too. And then Plexus. Like I don't know.
Plexus.
Do you know Plexus?
I
Have
do.
you heard of it?
I have a really close girlfriend who does it and love it, and Aaron and I actually use some of the products.
Do you
We
really?
do.
Yes.
Dude,
Yeah.
what are you reading these days?
I am reading. Oh goodness. I read Charles Spurgeon
Uh-huh.
morning and evening. His devotional is amazing. I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing that for a few years.
Did you know my
But
husband's writing a book on Charles Spurgeon?
no, he isn't.
He is too. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Like
It's
give
a
me details.
it's a
What's
historical
happening?
fiction novel.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes out next year.
Amazing.
You're gonna love it if you're a Spurgeon fan. He spent
I am.
last
So
week
he's
in
getting to
London.
know him
Oh
like
yeah, he went to
in
London
depth.
last week and just followed around places that he had been.
Really?
It was a really, really great trip. So, okay, carry on. You're reading that.
I'm excited about that book.
I know
Like,
it's
I'm
going to
like,
be great.
give
I'm
me
excited
more.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm reading Draw the Circle, the 40-day
Is that
prayer challenge
okay?
by
Uh-huh.
Mark
Mark
Batterson,
Batterson.
which is good because I also read The Circle Maker.
Okay.
Amazing. And the book I slightly mentioned earlier, Every Bitter Thing is Sweet.
Oh yeah. Sarah
Have
Haggerty?
you read that?
Is that Sarah? Oh, yeah, Sarah
Yeah,
Haggerty, right?
Sarah
Yes.
Haggerty,
I
right.
read it last year.
Is it amazing
It's
or what?
really great. Yes.
Yeah, it's like I feel like she's speaking my heart. Like
It's so good.
yes.
She's a
So
beautiful writer.
she is,
Yeah.
and the more I read it, like the more I find myself like highlighting and saying,
Yeah.
this is me,
Yes.
just learning to, you have this plan for your life, right? And it's going to go A, B, C, and D, this is how it's going to go. And
Right.
the Lord just wrecks you and he, in the best ways,
Totally.
Yeah, it's good just learning to trust him and wait on him.
Yeah, I just told someone this story this weekend. I was at a conference last
Okay.
fall, and
Okay.
I had never met her before.
You
And
met her?
yeah, well, this is what happened. I was at an event that she was at as well, and then she spoke, and then I was back at the hotel, and I had this moment of just. It was a weird moment for me, and I was completely emotional. I was walking back to my hotel room.
Yeah.
I was drained, and I was like on the verge of tears.
Right.
And I turned the corner, and there she is, right there. And
my goodness.
I knew she was, and we
Yeah.
had just been at this luncheon together. And I turned the corner, and I was like, and she goes, "Hey, are you okay?" Because I think I looked a little distraught, and Alaina, I just started crying, and I just unloaded like 35 seconds of what was wrong. And she was so kind to me in that moment and just like gave me such great encouragement. And so that's my only interaction I've ever had with her, but she was so kind.
But isn't that the best?
Yeah. It was just kindness overflowing from her.
Right.
Yeah.
How amazing.
I know. So it was good. I'm glad you're reading that. It's a great book.
Yeah, I am. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Well, good.
I am enjoying it. Just first of all, the scripture that the title comes from is just
It's great. Yeah.
It's insane just knowing that when you're hungry for something, anything feels good and everything sounds good, but the word of the Lord and just his sweetness, how he fills you up and how he just prepares you to do his work, and the testimonies and just the story he's writing, how that impacts so many other people.
Oh, yeah.
It is so good. And the bitter stuff really does become sweet. Like, it is goodness. It is such goodness.
It's so good. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're reading that. I enjoyed it. And all of those books that you just mentioned, I'll put up in the show notes for everyone to have. Alaina, thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, thank you for asking me on. I found out about, the happy hour from Wynn Elder. I know y'all are good friends.
Yes.
And you're visiting her.
I
next
am.
week, right?
Well,
The Haven.
Yeah, tomorrow actually from when we're recording this.
So
yeah.
So amazing. So
Yes.
I visited with her last summer. I brought my girls, and, Camp and Asher were able to play, and we were just able to just kind of parent together, for like a couple days. And I visited the Haven.
Oh,
so
yay.
beautiful. And
can't
I
wait.
am excited. Like, yes, I cannot wait
I know,
for y'all's visit.
Yeah, it's our very first happy hour on the road, and we're going to Bryan College Station tomorrow.
It's going to be the best. Like,
I'm super
a
excited.
Beautiful place to kick everything off. It's going to be wonderful.
It's so fun, and we want to do more, so we'll just have them
Yeah,
where
you
this
should.
leads. I know, it'd be really fun, so it's great. It's great. Okay, well, I hope you have the best summer. Enjoy those babies.
Yes.
Don't
Enjoy your summer, too.
Don't even worry about homework next year, okay? And when you start to stress,
I'm going to try.
I want you to hear my voice saying, just let
I'm going
it
to
go.
send you a text like, I am dying. Send me some relief. Like,
And I'm just going to say,
send
let
me
it go.
some words of wisdom.
That's
Yeah.
my words of wisdom. Let it go.
Let it go.
There you
I'm
go.
going to put that on my wall. I have like a prayer wall, and I'm going to like find that or letter it or something.
Yes.
Like, let it go.
I love it. I love it. I wish I
For
could say
sure.
I take credit for it, but there was that big movie.
Elsa.
It's Elsa's words, not mine. Okay, thank you so much, and have a great day.
For sure. You too.
Y'all, wasn't that a great conversation with Alaina? She seems like truly one of the best teachers out there with the way that she loves the kids in her classroom. I just imagine her being such a delight for the kids every day. It was also good to hear her thoughts about her journey and the struggles of life and recently, and how faithful God has been through all of it. Guys, remember, everything that we chat about on the happy hour, you'll be able to find on my website, jamieivey.com. So don't try to frantically write down links or whatever. Just go there, jamieivey.com, and you'll find everything. I'd love to hear from you guys. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Send me a message. Let me know what you love from the show. Today's show is edited by Knox McCoy, and the music is from Jason Poe. Guys, this Friday we have a happy half hour, and you guys love it so much. We should do it every Friday. I don't know. We'll see. But this Friday, the happy half hour, is my guest, Melanie Dale. And you guys love her. I love her. She was guest number 41 on the happy hour. So go listen to that original interview. And she now has her own podcast called Lighten Up with Melanie Dale. And I was actually the number 3 guest on her show. So go find that and listen as well. Then next week, for our regular happy hour, it's going to be with Bianca Juarez Olthoff. And I had so much fun chatting with her. her show is like what a real happy hour would be for me in my real life, because we went back and forth from lashes to sex trafficking to yoga to strong women to traveling to getting married to all kinds of stuff. And so it was so much fun. So join us next week as we chat. Guys, enjoy your week. Share the show with a girlfriend and have a happy hour with a friend.